Yo, welcome back to Mentality Fleet. What's going on, YouTube? I'm just tapping in with my fleet, tapping in with my community, like I always do, man. Just trying to keep this content rolling, trying to be consistent. And I just want to talk to you guys about some. I had a video that one of my videos I uploaded maybe about sometime last month, and it was about anxiety and depression. And I just want to tap back in. I just want to touch on that again, because sometimes we have those days. It may last longer than a day, it may be a little shorter, but we have those times where we fall into a depression or fear or anxiety or just hopelessness. You don't want to do anything. There's a lot on your mind. There's a lot of distractions going on. There's so many things weighing on you that it's like the world is on your shoulders. It's like, oh man, how can I get out of this? And, I just wanted to come talk to you guys because, I was kind of having a day like that today. I was under the weather for maybe about a week. I was kind of sick. I'm just kind of getting my voice back right now. So, it's just having maybe a discouraging day. It's so much going on in the world and so much going on in just in my personal life that I wanted to get some advice from you guys, to see if you have those type days, if you have those days or those times where you just really discouraged, you don't really want to do anything. And that video that I did about a month ago, I'm not gonna put the link in the description, but I'm just gonna put the card up in the video so you can tap on it and check it out. I kind of went into detail about my personal battles that I had and that I sometimes still have. In that video, I think I said I couldn't remember where it started because I was never a anxious person as a kid. I was never, had depression type, like bouts with depression or anything my whole life. It started, I think, somewhere when I was an adult and I couldn't remember where it started. So I tried to go back in my mind and think, man, when did this start? Like, what happened? And I believe it was when I was working at a automotive plant where they gave us, we worked a lot of hours, man. It's like we worked so many hours that there was not really time for us to live our lives, man. And that we was drained mentally, physically, obviously, emotionally, like we were just drained. And it weighed so heavy on me that I started having, at the time I started having anxiety attacks or panic attacks. And I remember being at work one day and we was gonna get off earlier than normal. So Monday through Thursday, we would work 6:15 in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening. And that's every day, Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, we'll get off around 4. So it'd be like 6:15 to 4. And a lot of times we worked Saturday and Sundays too. It was like mandatory overtime. So we worked a lot and it weighed on my body, it weighed on my mind. Like sometimes I was on autopilot. I mean, it was straight muscle memory. We were driving around brand new cars around this big test track. And it takes maybe about 10 minutes to 15 minutes to do, a full assessment and a full test on the car. And, oh man, a lot of times I couldn't remember how I got through those tests that we were doing. But one day, going back to the first time I think I remember having a panic attack, we were gonna get off early and we were getting not phone calls because we weren't able, we weren't allowed to use our phones, but word of mouth was like, hey, we're gonna get off early today. I think we're gonna get off probably about 1:30. So, just be ready. They might call it a day. We can get off a little early. This was a Friday. So I was coming into this place. It was called the EAK building. And that's where after we did our test and we after we were done with the cars, we just brought them in to this big warehouse building. We parked them. And there were, we had these forms that we filled out. And we would put our forms in the dashboard of the car. And there would be mechanics that would come through and look at what we You know, if we had found any problems, we would just mark it, check it off or whatever, or we'll check the car if it's good. They'll take the car somewhere else. So sometimes that EAK building would be full and there would be nowhere to park. So this one day I went through, it's just like in a parking lot of a shopping center or somewhere. There's no cars, nowhere to park, and you just keep going around. So I went around about once or twice, and then the third time, may have been the second time, I'm not sure. When I came in, I saw somebody getting ready to pull out of one of the parking spaces. So they had their brake lights on, they was in the car. So I was just waiting for them to come out. And as I was waiting, it's like, if you can imagine, I'm just looking straight. My heart started beating real fast. My palms got sweaty. And like my peripheral vision, it just started slowly closing in, slowly like this, to where I could see nothing to my right or to my left. I couldn't see anything, and it just started getting black. Now I was panicking, like really, really, really panicking. But for some reason, I didn't want anybody to know that I was going through something. So I just kind of held on to the steering wheel really tight and just tried to breathe slowly. I didn't know what was going on. My vision didn't completely go black, but it was probably about 80%, to where my peripheral was just gone and everything was kind of getting dark and blurry. My heart beating fast. I don't know where this was coming from, just out of the blue. So at some point, this may have lasted probably about 30 seconds. Probably just as long. It lasted a little bit longer than it took for the guy to back out of the parking space. So like I said, it didn't take up, my vision wasn't completely gone. It was about 80% gone for some reason. So I was able to, once they moved out of that parking space, I was still able to drive the car. You know, it was maybe about 5 yards away or something. I was far enough away from the parking space for them to be able to come out. So I just went in there and I sat there for a second, and I was holding that steering wheel tight, and my blood was rushing to my head. My heart was beating fast. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? I didn't know if I was going to pass out. I didn't know if I was dying. I didn't know if I was having a heart attack. I don't know. It came from nowhere. So for about a minute or something, it had, I felt that feeling, and I was like terrified because I didn't know what was going on. I was like in my early 20s, and it just slowly started subsiding. Just like going away, just my vision, where it was probably about 80%, my vision was about 80% gone or obstructed. It just kind of slowly opened back up. My heart started slowing down a little bit. My head stopped hurting, and I was just back to normal. So this whole ordeal may have taken a minute. Maybe a little longer than a minute, I'm not sure, but I was like, wow, what was that? So it ended, that was the first time. Then it ended, it started doing, it happened again several times after that. I never knew when it was gonna happen. So I was just living my life in fear, like of, oh my God, when the next time is gonna happen? So it happened maybe a couple of times after that. So then I went to the hospital, and I got, checked out, had a checkup. I was asked, the doctor asked me if there's anything going on like they usually do. It's like typical for a checkup. And I told them about, what was happening to me with these episodes I was having. And I was just described the episodes to him. And the doctor said, it sounds like you're having like anxiety attacks or like panic attacks. That's what that sounds like. So he asked me like different things about my life, what was going on. One of the things he asked me was like, what do I do for work? I told him what I did for work, and he said, is that high stress? That sound like that's high stress. I was like, yes, sir, it's kind of high stress. I'm up. I never really got any sleep. It was very demanding. We had to be alert all the time. And it was really high stress. He was right about, about it may have been a panic attack. I guess he just diagnosed me with that. And he told me I need to like just get more rest, eat more, sleep. Like he gave me like some generic things to do to just something, things that can help, alleviate those symptoms and kind of stop that from happening. I can't remember exactly what he did. He didn't give me any medication for it. So he just was telling me to, just kind of take it easy a little bit. And after that, I kept having those things, man, like, cause I had to work, you know what I'm saying? So, and they was just as demanding as they always were. And I used to have them in my sleep. I can kind of feel it slowly happening. And I can, if I feel it about to happen, I can do something. I can't remember what it was. I can kind of like breathe differently, or like just be aware of the moment and say, hey, okay, take it easy, calm down, and I can kind of catch it before it happens. But sometimes it'll happen in my sleep. I'll wake up in my sleep with a panic attack. I'll wake, I can just be anywhere. And I don't want anybody to know what's going on. So I always was able to just, keep it a secret, or, not really draw attention to myself when it's going on. So nobody really knew it was going on, but I always was afraid, because I didn't know when the next time it would happen, or if it would be in a situation where I can't overcome it. So I think that I believe that a lot of the anxiety and depression and different things I deal with now, some of it probably started there. That's the first time I can remember ever being afraid of things, or anxious about something, or anticipating things, or just having any kind of depression or despair. Other than that, before that, I just live life. You have good times, bad times, good days, bad days, and you keep it moving. I was optimistic, and I kind of think that in my mind, I'm just going back in that video that I did, and I said that I couldn't remember where it started, but I knew it started somewhere along the way. I'm thinking it might have been then. So, but I still have, some days like that. Like today is kind of, one of those days where I had to like talk to you guys and get it off my chest, get things off my mind, because a lot of, man, to be honest, people don't really care about your problems. They don't want to hear you. You can talk to somebody, you can talk to a professional or something like that, but a lot of times, we're not in positions where we can talk to a counselor or somebody about that, or we're not in a position where, like we need to talk right now, and you have to set up, appointments for those type of things. So anyway, I think talking to you guys, it helps. So, I'm glad you're here listening. And if you going through anything, or if you struggle, if you have bouts with depression, anxiety, or anything like that, or just have mood swings, some people suffer from just different things like that. I'm just kind of making this a safe space where we can talk to each other, where we can communicate, we can give each other advice, we could be a listening ear, just whatever, you know what I mean? Just sit here and listen. And like I said, I was just having one of those days. I want to talk to you guys about it. I had to get it off my chest. But anyway, I'll just stop it right here. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on that bell notification if you hadn't already. And until the next time, and until the next video, peace.